This is Bill Boylan's WR17, and today we're going to video the process of stepping the mast. Here's Bill Boylan here waiting for us.
Hello, sports fans.
When we have these instructions or procedures, it's for windriders that already have the trailer winch mast stepping modification. You notice this trailer winch here, and up here you have a mast step up here, actually what's called a mast support up here, and another one back here.
With the
first thing we're going to do is remove all the trailer tie down lines. And Bill's going to start on this one right here, and after he removes that one, he will also remove the one that holds the front of the mast down here. In fact, he already took it off. That's good. Part of removing the trailer tie down lines will also be, we will also be removing this tramp here on the port side. And when we drop that down, it will give us a better access to the inside of the boat. Bill is removing the Aka locks, these long pins, so that we can next slide out both Akas. Once these holes are lined up on the Akas, we can now put in the Aka lock pins. Once we take the cockpit covers off and have access to the inside of the cockpit, this is the front cockpit, we're going to lift out the jib and get ready to install it. Alright, we're taking the head of the jib and we're going to hook it onto this swivel that it has. No, right there.
Okay.
We're going to clear all the shroud lines so that they are not going to hang up on anything as we raise the mast. As you can see, we're lifting the front of the mast and sliding it on the back mast support roller and connecting it to this ball, and there you have it. We position the mast on a ball so that one side is up. In fact, this side is got a temporary label says up, and there's a label here that says jib, because a jib, which is, you can see in the background here, will be on the left side of the mast as we raise it. And over here it's hard to see, but it says HAL, H-A-L, halyard. The halyard will be on the right side of the mast as we raise it. And I'll tilt my camera like this so you can see the whole thing. And we'll be raising it next, watching out for anything hanging up. At this point, we've removed the trailer winch hook from the front of the boat, and we mounted it, we routed it, the strap, so that it comes from the trailer winch up to this modified roller up here and down to where Bill is holding it in his hand, the hook, which we're going to connect now to the halyard. And the halyard is being held by that bungee. We're going to take that bungee off and put the hook on. Notice that the halyard is on the right side of the mast and the jib is on the left side of the mast. All the lines seem to be free and not tangled or hanging up on anything. And Bill is going to begin to raise the mast by cranking the trailer winch. And here it comes. The lines look clear. The mast is coming up easily. Okay, we're almost there, 45 degrees. Okay, we're also watching the mast step down here and making sure that nothing is going to bind underneath here. Usually there's no problem with that until we lower the mast. Then this part of the mast base will strike the bolt and the nut down here, as you can see, and break off. We have to have the mast at an angle to clear everything. But on the way up, there's no problem. On the way down, we'll be looking at that very closely. We're going to raise it until we get enough tension on the trailer strap and assure that the mast is straight up and down. We have made some marks on the inside of the strap right here and here to give us an idea where to stop. Let's try that right there, Bill. The jib is now pulled forward to its furling spool, and we're going to lock it on there in a minute. Right now, the only thing holding that mast up is the halyard, the trailer winch strap connected to the halyard and pulling down, which is the only thing holding that mast up right now, plus the shrouds keeping it from going sideways. And now, Bill is going to connect the bottom of the jib to its furl by putting in a pin. I'll hold it for you while you do that. Way to go. Okay, now you're going to lock it in with your ring. The mast is still sideways on its mount because of the halyard on its right side twisting it so that it's held flat and to the right. When we release the trailer winch strap and the jib is now connected, it's going to hold the mast up. We don't need this trailer winch strap anymore. So Bill, if you'll release that and unwind it, then the jib will be holding up the mast. And the mast is turning because the halyard is no longer twisting it sideways. There. We're going to disconnect the trailer strap, and now we have the halyard flying around. We're going to grab that and hook it to the bungee, which holds the halyard in a convenient place instead of flying around in the wind. Alright, the mast is up. The jib is holding the mast upright and the shrouds. And we're coming down to the next step in the operation. We have the rear mast support, and Bill is removing it. Hold that there, Bill. We have a round pipe here with a metal strap to make it square so that it fits in the square hole here. Not all your supports are going to be the same as Bill's. but that's how it's done. We take it out, and we're going to store that whole thing in the car. We don't need it, but we do need it removed in order to get this boat off the trailer. If you notice, the ACA has to go past the mast support where it was, off the trailer and out. So that's why it had to be removed. When we put the boat back on the trailer, this is still off because he has the mast support stored in his car. The boat will slide on its rail here. The ACA will clear the mast support right here. And after the boat is on the trailer, then we can put the mast support back in position so we can then lower the mast. We're simulating that we just came in from the water. We put the boat on its trailer. The jib is rolled up, furled. We're not putting the rear mast support in place. It just slides right in there like that. And that has to be done in preparation for lowering the mast, because when the mast lowers, it's going to fit within these sideboards or cheeks. You'll see that in a minute. We're going to connect the winch strap to the halyard, which happens to be hanging here on this bungee right here. Okay, now the winch strap is connected to the halyard, and the winch strap is still over the top of this top roller and ready to be winched in to take the pressure off of the forestay, which is the jib. Once he rolls the halyard and the strap tight, the jib forestay will become loose. Looks like you got to go more, Jim. Bill. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's good. See, the jib is slacking. Now we can disconnect the jib. Now that it's the halyard that's holding the mast up instead of the jib, the halyard is pulling the mast sideways, back where it says up, and jib's going to end up going on the left side. The halyard is already on the right side. As we lower the mast, we're going to make sure that the mast is still angled sideways with the word up facing us. Also very important, this is the halyard that you pull to raise the mast. Of course, the halyard is up at the top of the mast right now. It's important that the bottom of the halyard is lashed to its horn cleat right here, because all of that tension from the halyard comes to here. And if that comes loose, the halyard comes loose and the mast will come down. It must be secured on this horn cleat. We are now unwinding the trailer winch. The mast is coming down slowly, and we're watching this angle on the base of the mast so that this stays pretty much sideways and don't bind when it gets close to that metal. If you notice, Bill is holding a line that's attached to the mast at this point so that he can pull on this line and keep the mast sideways as it comes down so that this part don't bind on that metal. Pull it a little bit more. Yeah, it's free. It's free and ready to come down. By the way, the mast has now rested itself right in its cradle. Automatically found its own place. And there it is. The mast is down. Go ahead. We're going to disconnect the halyard from the winch strap. He's going to try to get more slack. And we're going to put the halyard on a bungee that we put in there just to keep it from flying around. That's good. We're going to push the mast forward, get it off of the ball. It's very light. And he's going to bring it back and put it into a cradle here that we call the forward mast step. Forward mast support. There you are. From here, we can tie it down when we're ready to trailer. This concludes the mast stepping process. And if we tie it down and if we push in the amas and put the trailer tie down lines on and the cockpit covers the back on, then we're ready to roll and go back home.